Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. Sound right, boys.
Hi, thank you, Dr. Roz, for letting me be a part of this Women's Empowerment Luncheon. I count it a privilege and an honor, and I pray that someone is encouraged today. Whatever you're going through, you have got to know that this battle is not yours, it is the Lord's. Be empowered today.
There is I feel a little privileged. That is my childhood best friend. Leslie Collins. We have known each other since we were, oh my goodness, probably middle school, 6th grade, somewhere in there. And she has always been my favorite singer. So I was like, I need you to we're going through so much since 2020 and COVID, this pandemic. People are losing their jobs. People are losing their life. People are losing their spouses. There's been so much going on in this pandemic that I was like, we need a word. We need something that will, just carry us through. So I hope and I pray that minister to your soul. And if you would like to book Leslie Collins, she's on Instagram at LC Songbird. Yes, it was, Kendra. Yes, it was a word. Amen for that. So now we are going to get into our empowerment speakers. Guys, I am so excited. Reason being is because our keynote speaker, and I am just going to, give me a second. I want to pin her, spotlight her for everyone. Can you guys see her beautiful face? This is the Honorable Malia Cohen. I have known Malia for over, I'm telling our age, over 20 years. We graduated together from Fisk University. And let me just tell you about Malia. From the moment that we stepped on campus in 1996, it seems so long ago, jeez. At Fisk University, I always knew that Malia was going to be the politician that she is today. She played no games. No games at all, no games. So I am just excited. I'm going to let her tell you about everything that she does so that you can be equally amazed by her gifts, by her talents, by her genius, like I am. So without further ado, please welcome Honorable Malia M. Cohen. You're on mute, Malia.
I can't believe I'm on mute. I do Zooms for a living, and I still forget to unmute myself. But nonetheless, good afternoon. How are you, girls? And David, I see you. So my name's Malia, as you heard from Roz. And yes, we are friends, we're classmates, and we are graduates from Fisk University. And I'm excited. She sent me a text a couple weeks ago, and she said, "Hey, would you come and speak to my group?" And I was nervous. And like I said, I do a lot of speaking, but you know, when you speak in front of close friends and family, you get a little bit nervous. So I'm excited. I've been up since 7:30 this morning. I'm in San Francisco now and just waiting for this moment. So thank you. Let me introduce myself to you. I am a native San Franciscan. I grew up here and I'm a public school kid. I went to Fisk University for undergrad and I went to Carnegie Mellon for graduate school, which is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I am elected to the California State Board of Equalization, and this is a body that's responsible for the $70 billion property tax system here in the state of California. I represent 10 million people and about a fourth of the state of California. Prior to this role that I'm in now, I'm in my 3rd year of my first term. I served 8 years as president, 8 years on the San Francisco Board of Supervisors and a stint also as president. And so just to kind of orient you, the Board of Supervisors would be like your county commission, maybe an older person or the level above a city council person. All right, just so we're all on the same page. And you know, I've always have known my calling. It started way back in the day when I was 8 years old on a tour of San Francisco City Hall. And when the world opens back up, everybody, you need to come to San Francisco. Look me up, let's get connected. And get that tour of City Hall because it is beautiful. Marble staircase, huge rotunda, gold leaf inlay. I mean, it's just a beautiful, majestic place. And if you can imagine going back to your 8-year-old mind, Miss Nicolosi brought us on a field trip, and I walked in the city hall and was looking in the main rotunda, and I was like, ah, wow, I'm gonna work here one day. One day. Now, mind you, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know nothing about politics. I don't come from an overly political family. My parents did vote, but other than that, that's about it. So, third grade is when I started out and I ran for my first office. I was class president and I learned a lot. And to tell you the truth, my dad came up with the slogan that I still use to this day, and it has brought me victory. And it's, I'm going with Cohen. That's one version of it. And another version is vote Cohen and get a good thing going. Now, I know it's corny and cheesy, but you know, it works and people remember it. But it's nothing like seeing vote Cohen on the back of a bright yellow T-shirt in the middle of a convention center when you got all your supporters and you got your nerves and you got your jitters. But what's most interesting about how all of this comes together is how my path has been interwoven with other people's paths. Now, you may have heard of a woman named Kamala Harris. I'm speaking to AKAs, and I thought you guys might like to know a little something about your soror that the mainstream media doesn't know. So, you know, in 2003, Kamala Harris was running for district attorney here in San Francisco. And I was working on a parallel campaign, Gavin Newsom's campaign, who was now the governor of California. And so it was an election year. This was my first campaign. I'm organizing this district that I ultimately ran and won a seat to represent on the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. So today's talk is about being the vice president. There's a vice president in all of us. We just got to tap into it and find it. And so there are 3 key things that I have honed in that I think are going to be key steps that y'all need to take to get to that vice presidency or that boss status that that is in your mind. Okay, so that it manifests. So in 2003, I'm working on a campaign. I knew I want to be in politics, so I'm just delighted. I'm on like the IT campaign, who Gavin Newsom ultimately wins his first mayoral bid. So the first lesson here, ladies, is to be ambitious with your goal and to be unapologetic. Don't let anybody deter you or sway you. You got to be ambitious. And one thing I've also learned is that we as women, somehow or another, we get socialized into thinking that ambition is a dirty word. You don't want to be too ambitious. You don't want to be too bossy. You want to be seen as a mean girl. All of these are actually strong leadership traits that manifest in men. So remember that as you're going through your walk of life, you want to be ambitious with your goal. Here's a story. One time I was volunteering on Kamala's campaign, and we were doing what we call a merchant walk. And that's when you go into a district, a section of town, and you walk the merchant corridor. You know, there's a lot of stores, there's eateries, there's bars. So I'm staffing her. This is a volunteer capacity. And, you know, first of all, I was much younger. I was all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed because, you know, it was Kamala Harris. So you guys are just now feeling the magic. I was feeling it back in 2003. Okay, so we're on this merchant walk. We're in West Portal. We're walking, and we walk into a nail salon. And I'm like, I go in there and I'm like, everyone, Kamala Harris is coming. I'd love to introduce you to her. You know, people are sitting up there getting their nails done. And, you know, it's a captive audience. Ain't nobody going nowhere. They're getting their nails done, just sitting there. And I'm handing out her campaign literature. And I'm like talking to them about Kamala Harris. And, you know, I'm the hype woman, if you will, on these merchant walks, right? I'm like, get excited, coming. So right. She comes in. So then I go back out, I bring her in. I'm like, okay, there's about 10 people in here. These are their questions. They want to talk to you. So she's working.
Okay. You gonna call me back?
Excuse me, can you please mute?
Okay.
Please mute your line. Sorry, Malia.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, they're still talking.
You need to quit it.
I'll mute everyone. I'm sorry. Let me just pull up. Let me see who that is that's not muted.
It happens to all of us, so no problem.
Sorry.
It's happened to me. So can I go?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so okay, so I'm getting into the nail salon, and Kamala's walking and she's greeting people. She's saying, "Hi, I'm Kamala. I'm running for district attorney. I'd love to have your support. And love to this, and telling them about her story." Well, we get to this one woman in particular. She's sitting there just like this, and she was like, "I don't live in San Francisco." This is a white lady. "I don't live in San Francisco. I can't really vote for you." And let me tell you what your sister Kamala did. She took her literature out the woman's hand and was like, "Oh, well, thank you. You won't be needing this," and snatched it back and walked out the door. Can you believe that? Now that is the kind of ambition. Now, see, what you don't know is that those mail pieces, they're actually very expensive. So you got to raise money, right? And so you're not trying to see your mail pieces littered on the street and giving them to people that aren't going to use them. So she walked in, she was like, she snatched it out the woman's hand and took it, and she was like, "Oh, you won't be needing this. I'll take this back," and kept on moving. Now that was a lesson for me. I was like, okay, sister, I see you being bold, being unapologetic, and conserving your resources. That's the kind of woman I'm standing behind. And this is, folks, this was in 2003. This was years ago. So the next years I've been able to unfold, and I'm watching her. She stood up. There was a high profile case in San Francisco where an officer was killed. And she stood up and she said, "I am not going to pursue the death penalty." It was against her code of ethics. And this woman took a lot of shit because she didn't. Matter of fact, our senior stateswoman, Dianne Feinstein, said, "How dare you? You need to go pursue the fullest extent of the law. You're the district attorney and you're not gonna prosecute the cops." I mean, it was like a really big deal, but she stood her ground and she was unapologetic. She stuck to her convictions. Now, the second lesson that I want to talk to you about is defining what success looks like. For me, when I was 8 years old, I didn't know what working in City Hall actually entailed, you see. But I knew I just wanted to be in the building. So I remember once we won this election, it's about 2004, 2005, I'm in the building and I'm working for the mayor as one of his assistants. And I remember my dad called and he was like, "How you doing?" And I was like, I was really down. I was, you ever feel like you're locked down in a job or unappreciated? Sometimes I felt like, I told my dad, I said, "I feel like this wilted flower I'm looking at on my desk, unappreciated, just wilted, just sitting there, needing some love, needing some energy." And he said, "What are you talking about? You live in a dream. You wanted to work in City Hall." And I was like, "Yes, but in my dream, I was the boss and I was running things and people were listening and jumping and we were moving and shaking. I'm getting coffee and turkey sandwiches. Not exactly what I was thinking about, but about 10 years later, I was living a dream. I was doing more than getting turkey sandwiches and coffee for my higher ups. I was elected, and it was actually being able to visualize my future and manifest it. Now that pathway to it had bumps and rolls. It came and it went. It had highs and lows. It was a squiggle, but I never got off that path. And so for me, success was about being in an elected office, being in a position to have a positive influence on mass numbers of people, and having honor and integrity. When I think about Kamala Harris, I'm like, these are the similar traits that I see. Completely focused. Now, it was no secret, even when she was the DA, that this woman wanted to be president of the United States. It was widely discussed in political circles, and she was often put down for being ambitious, too ambitious. She should just be happy with where she is. She should focus on the job that she has at hand. But why? We are women. We can multitask. We can handle the job that's in front of us and look in the distance for the future and keep moving down that pathway. So the third and final point that I want to leave with you is to go for it, and to go for it with urgency. Again, being unapologetic and being unencumbered about other people's shit. Now, I know it's early in the afternoon, but sometimes we just got to keep it real, just got to keep it straight. Other people will have their insecurities that they will try to put on you, that they will saddle on you. You can't do it. You've never run for office. You don't know how to negotiate. You don't know how to read planning documents. These are all things that they told me, but I dusted it off and I kept on moving. And that's the same thing that you see with our vice president. They told her she was too hard on Black men. They told her her policies weren't sound. Remember that? And let me tell you, the other thing is that donors stopped giving money. That's why her presidential campaign had to be suspended. But I submit that God had another plan, because Joe Biden selected her to be the vice president of the United States. And she still walked down that path of urgency. She was unapologetic while she did it. So ladies, I'm going to leave a couple minutes. If you have any questions, no holds barred, talk to me. I want to hear what your ideas are. But remember, whatever you're doing and whatever your pathway is to walk in your light boldly and unapologetic. All right, that's it for me. That's a tight, I believe, 20 minutes. So tell me, ladies, what do you think? Thank you, Zakia. I really appreciate that love.
I think you are amazing. And I'm Kyra, by the way. Hi.
Oh, yeah.
I think that how you talked about how the journey has highs and lows and kind of sticking to it, and that resilience, I think, is so important as we go through the journey, and it doesn't start the way we think it should, and we want to rush to that finish line. I think that talking about that resilience is so key. And I think you're so beautiful, so resilient, and that was amazing. That was great. I loved it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let me tell you about Malia.
Here we go. Let me get my tea.
We would be on campus, and dare I say that I was one of those girls who liked to kick it on the yard.
This is true. She did.
I was very smart about my kicking it on the yard. I scheduled all my classes early in the morning so that by lunchtime, I could chill. So I don't know if many of you went to a HBCU, but we're products of HBCU, and there was always music on the yard.
Always.
Always. It was always a party.
Always.
Always a party. But let me tell you about Malia. Malia wasn't kicking it on the yard. Nope. Malia would say hi, give you 2 minutes of a conversation, and she would keep it moving with her ponytail.
Hold on a minute. I got to interject something here, because first of all, I still was fun and fun loving. I wasn't just.
You were. You were fun and fun loving.
But I was thinking about all these people are future voters. All these people are future donors. Shoot, I don't want to spoil. Go ahead, Roz.
But Malia was like, yeah, I like kicking it on the yard isn't my forte. I feel like I got a minor in kicking it on the yard. But Malia was like, no. And you know who you reminded me so much of? Dr. Adebanje.
Oh, yeah. That was one of my favorite professors.
Oh my gosh, I was so terrified of her. Y'all, if y'all met Dr. Adebanje, you would be terrified of her too, because she did not play as a professor. She didn't play.
She was smart and beautiful.
Yes, she was.
She was.
And you remind me so much of her. Like when I think about your future self, I was like, Malia's gonna be like Dr. Adebanje. You're gonna be just like her. Yeah. And look, it's manifesting. It is manifesting. You are living your dream. You are doing what you do. And Malia, you and I, so I had Malia on my podcast, using your political voice, which is one of my highest rated podcast shows. But Malia, you said something very important on that show. And I want to go back to what you just said in regards to people, may say you can't do it. People may say you never run a campaign before, you don't know what you're doing. But you said something on that show that was so profound. And you said, as long as you know how to get to the money, make the money, ask for money, show the money, people will pay attention. Can you talk a little bit about that, Malia?
Yeah, absolutely. So what Roz is actually talking about is something that I've learned early on. You guys ever heard of a man named Willie Brown? You familiar with Willie Brown? Willie Brown is a notable Black man politician here in California. Spent many years at the State House in Sacramento, so much so that they changed the entire rules of the state of California, and they've implemented term limits just to get rid of this man. And presidents consult with him. Today is actually his 87th birthday. And he told me something when I was graduating from high school. He said to me, learn how to manage money. Learn the science of money. And I was like, okay, but why? I was 17 years old, about to go to Fisk. I was not even there, right? My headspace was not there. And he was like, because the people who know where the money is, the people who control the budgets are the last ones fired. I was like, that makes sense, right? You think about it, think about your businesses, right? You're never gonna fire your money manager. You're not gonna fire your accountant. That's the last person that you're holding on to because they help understand the money. Now, as a professional, I'm working in the spaces of taxes and fees and finance. The money is important because it allows us to do what we want to do. I'm not talking about the love of money, but the money manifests what's in your heart. It manifests and it magnifies, it bolsters what's on your mind. So if you have good intentions and you have resources, you are able to push it in that direction. And the money helps guide the conversation. Now, when I was a first-time candidate, I wasn't the only Black woman in the race. I wasn't the youngest in the race. I wasn't the only San Franciscan in the race. I wasn't the young, I think I said the youngest already, but we were always looking for ways to distinguish ourselves. And one thing that I learned that I stumbled on was when I raised the most money, I got earned media and people paid attention. And you think back to when we had the last election cycle, they kept reporting on whose money was coming in, right? And there's a reason for that, because money is what they call early money is the mother's milk of politics, and it helps your campaign rise, just like yeast in bread. And so that is how money is interrelated when it comes to politics. Now, I am a proponent of publicly financed campaigns, meaning that there's tax dollars that are financed into a campaign at a certain limit. And that's important because it helps first-time candidates like myself and most candidates of color get into the race and get into politics. I mean, I'm not from the Trump family. I'm not from the Bush family. I'm not from the Clinton family. There are people that are out there that have money and resources just by their name and by their name association, and people can pour money into the race. I was never one of those candidates. So being able to follow that money was absolutely critical to my personal success. And also, I will say it's been critical to the vice president's success. And I have modeled my career after what I've seen in working with her.
So let me just say this. I saw your governor on The View this week.
Oh yeah, he's in trouble. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is. But he also has made a promise
Yes,
to
he has.
place another Black woman in the Senate.
Yes, he
I'm
did.
rooting for you. What do we have to do to get you there?
I appreciate that, because there's actually a list of 6 of us. I'm on this list. I'm one of 5 women that are on the list for consideration. Largely because I am the only Black woman that's elected. Actually, no, he just appointed another one. But the reality is there's about 3 strong contenders on that list of 6, and I am in that top 3. So let's wait, because we can't do anything until Dianne Feinstein makes a move. So we're really in a holding pattern. But, if you don't mind, I mean, you can write letters to the governor. You can call the governor. You can, there's things that we can do. We could talk about it, but it's gauche to talk about it. So, to talk about it so soon. So I don't want to be too premature and, jinx myself. But thank you for bringing it up. And on a serious note, it is very real. We do need that representation. And what's most important, though, is that Black woman is going to save his what, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So he's in trouble. And between you and I think he's actually done a very good job as a governor. And historically in California, recalls are a tool that the Republicans use to recall a Democrat governor so that they can get office. That's how Arnold Schwarzenegger was elected many years ago. So this is not so much a commentary on Gavin Newsom's performance, although he has stumbled, as most people right?
Mhm.
Make mistakes in their job, but the Republicans in the state of California see this as an opportunity and using this as a leverage. So we as Democrats are rallying together to get behind them. And first and foremost, we're the Black Democrats, the Black women in the state of California. We held a press event last week before he got on Joy or AM Joy, before he got on The View, before he got all this national attention. Mind you, we came to his defense. And as a result, now you see him on national news. He's taken this recall and spun it around, and he's getting so much love because he said he's going to appoint a Black woman. So that's great. He's on the hook. Caveat is that until Dianne Feinstein leaves, and she's 87 years old, and she says she ain't leaving.
Yeah.
So we wait. But thank you for asking me. If you all
Well,
believe,
listen, that is my prayer.
pray me up there.
Yeah. And listen, I can do a strong letter writing campaign. So you just let
Okay.
me know.
Come on now.
And we can rally up the troops to get on it.
I would be honored.
But you just got a new position.
I did. I was drafted, you guys. I was drafted by Mayor London Breed. You guys ever heard of London Breed? You know, the Black mayor in San Francisco? You probably seen her on television. She was like, hey, Cohen, go run the police commission for me. And I accepted. And so I was sworn in August, a week before I delivered my baby, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pregnant, swearing, taking that oath. But I was sworn in, and I'm president of the police commission right now. And the police commission is important, as you know, in the time of George Floyd and time of Breonna and unfortunately countless other folks that have died at the hands of police. I'm bringing police reform changes to our department, and it's truly a labor of love, truly, and it's hard.
Yeah,
These people don't want to change.
No, like the blue wall is real. I don't think people really understand.
It is.
It is real.
And I live in the progressive San Francisco,
Yeah.
who likes to pretend that we don't have no problems. Likes to pretend like, oh, we're progressive, we're kumbaya. But like, I'm going to tell you, there's some very, very deep-seated racism, sexism, and a lot of bias that is against the trans community. And still, in a small city of San Francisco, where there's about 4% African Americans here, 4% of the population, we are still 36% of those that are stopped by law enforcement. Blacks and Latinos still disproportionately stopped. So I'm taking up the charge to change the department's training on Fourth Amendment rights. We're going to be restricting their ability to just randomly pull Black men and Black and Latino men over to search them. Yeah.
How can we make that model nationwide?
Well, it's got to be. We got to get it passed in San Francisco. It's got to be successful, and then we get it nationwide. But what you are seeing, some of the work that I have done here in San Francisco, we got rid of the carotid restraint, and you are seeing that that's also been happening nationwide. You're seeing bodies that are going to be created to create oversight for the police department. Something legislation that I did back in 2015. So we doing stuff here in the city that is catching fire across the entire country. Now, I don't know about Rome, Georgia. It's a little slower down there in Rome, good old Rome. But
good old Rome.
Rome, Georgia, you have a senator, a woman that's
girl
out there. Oh,
girl.
We gonna rise up and vote her out. That's what we're gonna do. Georgia,
she ran unopposed.
I know she did, and that should be a sin. Nobody should run unopposed. We Black women need to be on every single ballot, on every single level.
Malia, I have people like, move home to Rome so you can run. I was like, really?
That's a good idea.
Like, really? Like,
it's
really?
doable.
Like, yeah. Like, I have a whole husband that I would have to have that conversation with.
Bring him with you.
He is not moving to Rome, Georgia. Okay. He is not.
Well, there's a caveat. You could actually run for Congress and not live in your district. I'll spill all that later, but think about it. Here's a fact for you ladies. A woman needs to be asked to run for office 4 times before she actually believes that she can do it. So Roz, consider this your second ask. You should run for office. And many of you ladies that are on this Zoom right now, you should run for office. You can figure it out when you get there. Trust me.
That was going to be my next question.
Yep. Run for office.
Where does one start? Because I know there are some amazing women that are here on this line.
Mhm.
And I know some of us are so passion-filled and so driven, and we want to make changes,
Mhm.
but girl, we don't know what we're doing. So where do we start?
Well, don't sell yourself short. You know what you're doing. Think about it. You're running your household. You're running a budget. You know when supplies are low. You know when you need to go get some toilet paper. You keeping a running list in your head. I mean, these are skill sets that we have been honing in that we do seamlessly without even thinking about it. You can run an office. You can run a meeting. You can be driving down the street and see something wrong and then create legislation. You can absolutely do it. You just have to believe in yourself and go for it. If you want to run for office or you're thinking about it, I say get yourself appointed to a board or a commission. And those are usually bodies that you can volunteer on, the county supervisor or the city council, or, you know, there's some vehicle. All cities have them, all counties have them. Volunteer. Maybe it's Rec and Park, maybe it's the Planning Commission, or maybe it's the Police Commission like I'm on, or here's a good one, the Commission on the Status of Women is what we have here in San Francisco. Perhaps there's something comparable in your city. So the other option is volunteer. Find a campaign and volunteer. Right now, campaign is really easy. You don't have to leave your home. You can send texts right from your phone, make calls from your computer, and you can be calling all across the country. That's what I did for Stacey Abrams right here in San Francisco, calling on Georgians to do the right thing.
Yeah. I participated in some of the phone banks myself. It really is easy.
It is.
Really
It's very easy. It's anonymous.
Yep.
And you know, they hang up on you, no problem. You call, you keep calling. It's a numbers game.
Yeah.
And that actually trains you. You get your voice, you get your confidence, and you're also networking. You want to perhaps get involved with your political party. As you heard, I'm a Democrat. You can get affiliated with the local Democratic Party or the state Democratic Party. You just want to volunteer. Another place you can get involved is you can write op-ed pieces in the newspaper. Share your ideas. Create a platform for yourself. Just make sure you check your grammar and your spelling, because you don't want that.
Right.
That's always going to be Googleable. You don't want to be like, oh, that's that candidate that couldn't spell. You don't want that on your resume.
Right. Malia.
Yes.
Thank you, my love.
Thank you, ladies. I totally
You
have
have been
enjoyed myself.
amazing. I'm gonna check the chat to make sure we didn't miss a question.
Okay.
Because several came in, but I was so engaged in what you were saying that I couldn't keep up. So I apologize. Let me just make sure. I'm just gonna run through. Oh, everybody's loving the HBCU love. Absolutely.
Cornell asked a question about how are you going to restrict that ability? I'm not quite sure. What's the pretext to that question, Cornell? Cornell Richards.
Cornell, you can unmute your mic. That might be easier.
Oh, you were saying that they were going to change the education for the Fourth Amendment and then restrict their ability to stop Black and brown people.
Mm-hmm. So the way we're going to do it is require them to collect the data. We want to collect the data, and we have relationships with affiliated universities, Stanford University, and that data is going to. What we have is what we call an early warning, an early intervention system. So if we are seeing an officer that is having disproportionate numbers in targeted communities, targeted people, then we retrain them. And we are focusing on the bias that is inside the individual. There's bias within all of us. And so that is how we are going to be changing the violations of Fourth Amendment rights. So just collecting the data, analyzing the data, and then making the policies an augmentation in the policy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great question. Malia, my dear, you have been amazing. As the chat is saying, you're so inspirational. You're such an excellent speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're an honor for all you do for our nation.
Of course. I love it. Thank you. You guys have a wonderful afternoon. And don't forget.
Can you drop in the chat how we can donate to your campaign? Because listen.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. Look at my
I'm trying to get you to the Senate. Okay.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Come on. We need your Black girl magic there. all the way to the top.
So it's really simple. It's electmalia.org, everyone. electmalia.org. And Roz also has my contact information too. We've got some fundraisers coming up. If you guys really want to serious, you can jump on a Zoom. I'm going to do this cooking thing. It's going to be so amazing. I've got a friend of mine. She's an Indian woman. We're going to send out these Indian spices. We're going to do a cooking demonstration all on Zoom. You don't have to leave the comforts of your home. We getting creative on these fundraising ideas. So thank you.
I like it.
I appreciate your time. Thank you for the opportunity, Roz. Always a pleasure to work with you. Okay, ladies, have a wonderful afternoon. Enjoy your conference. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Malia. Guys, wasn't she fantastic? I told you you guys would be in for a treat with Malia Cohen. She is one of my favorite people. And speaking of favorite people, yes, she does have marvelous energy. She has always been that way. I see two of my favorite people who will be serving as our panelists, and they are on. So let me pin them real quick. Hey, Dr. Keita Joy. Oh, you're on mute, babe. I think you're on mute.
Oh, there we go. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Hey, Tenisha.
Hi, beautiful.
Hi, Tenisha.
Hi, Keita. How are you?
I'm doing well.
We're also happy to see each other. So not only are these two of my favorite people, but they're also my co-authors. We wrote a book together entitled 100 Ways to Stay Married. So I must say that this was Tenisha's idea because she pulled us all together. It's four of us in total. And Tenisha's like, you ladies are some boss ladies, some alpha women. And I'm always getting asked, how you keep a man, girl? How you keep your husband let you do that, girl? So then Tenisha came up with this idea, and it just it turned into like this beautiful project that we worked on, Success and Submission. And so I am so excited to have these two ladies here today because let me tell you, when I met Dr. Keita, so Tenisha brought us all together. We didn't know each other prior. When I met Dr. Keita, it's almost like we just fell in love instantly. It was like, I love you and I love you back.
I know. Instant synergy.
Yes. And Dr. Keita, we match each other's energy when it comes to, girl, take this picture of me, girl, get this picture of me, girl, do this shot, do this shot.
Right, because some people can't take all that. They're like, really, sis? Another one? But like, you get it. We here.
Yep, I was like, you want another one? Let me get you from this angle. Let me get you from that angle. Because I drive my friends like that too. And one of our honorees, Renee, is on and she's like, oh my gosh, for real. Roz, one more picture. Are you serious? For a minute, she started banning me from posting pictures because I was posting so many. I was like, but I love to post us. It is the documentation of our life, right? So when I met Dr. Keita, I was like, I like this girl. And we are TED Talk sisters.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
I know.
You just completed your TED Talk not too long ago.
I did. So the pandemic for me, hi everyone. It is such an honor to be here this afternoon. You guys are so blessed to be in the space with Dr. Roz on a continual basis. And I'm honored to be here with your tribe, Dr. Roz. So thank you. But man, the pandemic, God had so much purpose for me during the pandemic. That was the time that I was on OWN with Iyanla Van Zandt and did my first ever TED Talk on the state of the Black woman's mental health in America and just being transparent about my mental health journey and just how truly corporations can support Black women when it comes to our mental health, not just saying things and having great sayings on Twitter and Instagram, but truly what does that look like in your corporation? So yeah, definitely. And I was reaching out to Dr. Roz because I was like, oh my God, I'm getting ready to do it. Do you have any advice for me? So you are definitely the definition of sisterhood. So thank you.
Oh, you are more than welcome, sis. You are more than welcome. And your TED Talk is amazing, by the way. I did have the opportunity to check it out. And I was like, go ahead. And I checked you out on OWN too. So all right now. ahead, sis. So proud of
Thank you.
all that you are doing.
Thank you.
And Tenisha and I met because one, Tenisha is my soror. She is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
Tenisha is also family. She is my husband's cousin, but she's family. And as soon as we met, I was like, she's so pretty. I love her.
The feeling is mutual.
So pretty, and I love her. And we had an instant connection. And it's just been, let me tell you about Tenisha, guys. Last summer, no, 2 summers ago. Yeah, 2 summers ago. We took some of our girls, Renee and I run a foundation called Go Grinders. And we took some of our girls down. We work with at-risk middle school girls. And we went to Charlotte, because that's where Tenisha lives. We went to Charlotte to help one of our girlfriends' daughter move in. It was the college move-in day. And we took 3 of our girls with us so that they can get the whole college experience, so they could see what it looks like to be on an HBCU campus, and to see, you know, what it is to be a college student. And so I called up Tenisha and I was like, I have 3 of my girls with me. Do you mind meeting us? And she was like, absolutely. Absolutely. So she came and talked to my girls. So they were so intrigued with Tenisha. They was like, who does your hair? Who does your makeup? like they were just astounded by her beauty. And then it was like, oh, okay, so how do I become a lawyer again? You know, they had those questions then, but she was so gracious with our girls, and they talked about you all the way home. It's like, I think I want to be like that lady.
Well, I'm glad I made a good impression.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So I appreciate you both saying yes. I do. I'm excited about this panel discussion because both of you ladies are bosses in your own right. Both of you ladies are doing amazing things. And I know that we have some individuals on the line. We have a couple of students on the line as well. We have individuals who are still trying to figure it out. Still trying to figure out, where do I start? How do I do this? And it's so funny how we all connected, because we connected on the whole success and submission, and the whole idea of making a relationship work when you have dreams and ambitions. So Keita, I think you may be married the longest. So how did that work out for you?
Girl, well, hard. No, dude. Is it working? No, I'm just playing. Yeah, no. It's working. Hallelujah. My husband and I, we've been married for 13 years. Our anniversary August 4th. And I think I could touch on, you know, because that's a big question. You know, there's so many parts to that. But I think initially starting out this panel conversation, I can speak on, you know, what does that look like to constantly evolve as a woman, to make sure that you are honoring your identity, honoring your purpose, because you are not put on this planet just to be a wife or just to be in one particular relationship. Like, you're here first and foremost to do the will of God, right? And what that looks like in your teens, in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, like what that looks like, that is the whole adventure of life. It's ever evolving and changing. I'm being honest with all of you right now. My birthday is on the 29th. Ow, come on. It's the first day of Aries season. So I'm like super pumped right now. Like, go Aries. And I'm about to be 39, and I'm going back again, seeing my therapist even more regularly, just because I feel like I'm in another shift where I'm evolving again as a woman. So I bring that in, and then you bring in like, okay, well, I want a mate. I want someone to be able to share this success with, someone who loves me for me. Like, I want to, hey, come on, Aries, I see you, Kim Yada, hey. I want that. And I think oftentimes as women, we fear, can we find someone who truly will love us for us? Because that's what it is when it comes down to it. So I don't even look at it as like, oh, I just want a man who's going to support my business or support my dreams. I want a man who's going to love me for me, because right now I have a coaching and speaking business now, like, I want a funeral home, and then I may want to do this, and things change. Like, you're changing. So you just want someone, if they truly love you for you, then they're going to love all of you. They're going to love all of your purpose. And that is what I love about my husband, and that's why it works. And works doesn't mean perfection. It just means we're committed to constantly understanding each other, supporting each other, and constantly looking and coming to the table and saying, now that we're both 39, 40, what does support look like now in this season with what we have going on? Like, you know, so I always encourage women, first, you gotta love you for you, okay? Because you can't be bringing nobody to no lonely little party. They're gonna be like, well, who in here? Because she don't even know who she is. So you want to make sure first, like, you know, we're always going to battle with some form of insecurity, but having that realization that I matter, that I am worthy, that I am deserving of love, that my past heartaches and situations does not define me. You know, I'm more than just one particular moment in trauma in time. And then you can open yourself to receive someone who's going to honor you and honor your evolution, because it's a package. It goes together. That's kind of what I saw in him, even when we were in our 20s. I was like, oh, he really likes me for me, because I'm a lot. Aries, no, we a lot. I was like, he loves wow. And he even said it, I've grown so much. I used to be a teacher. A teacher and a boss businesswoman, it's two different lifestyles, but he loves me all the same. So finding, you know, that's the goal, loving yourself and checking yourself when you're not, okay? And then attracting people, i.e. husband, boyfriend, or just friendships, who will honor you and accept you for who you are. That was long. Hey.
No, that was good. That was good.
It was great. It was great.
Now, Tenisha, you have your marriage is interesting because you guys are in the public eye.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. We've been married for almost 7 years. So we're
been 7 years
almost
already?
in June. It'll be 7 years. I know, right? I know, it's crazy. And my husband was in the forefront before I could even think about being in the forefront. My husband played football. And I had to kind of take a back seat, and a lot of NFL wives and athlete wives will tell you this, that for a while, that's what happens, because their careers are very short most of the time. And so we have to kind of take a step back and say, okay, you can be in the light, I'll be the support, and we're doing everything. I mean, and let's be honest, the whole operation works because we work. And so that's what I did. And I took a step back and I said, okay, you know, while you're playing, you know, you can be out there, you can do this. I'll run everything, I'll manage. And don't get me wrong, you know, I've been a boss. And when I say a boss, we own businesses and I own businesses, but I was not like the primary person kind of just being out there grinding and being in the forefront. And now that my husband is done playing, my career kind of just took off, and I've been pushed into a place where he just had a baby. And so he is.
Congratulations! I had to do a big yay real quick.
Thank you. And we, you know, our journey has been long. You know, we went through fertility treatments. We tried to have a baby for 5 years. We suffered losses, you know, along the way. And that was tough. That was very, very tough on our marriage, because you have to stay, I mean, you got to be strong, and we're working and we're being bosses while we're still trying to have a baby. And so throughout that process, I will say, you know, with my husband, and choosing him as a husband. And I say choosing him as a husband because I know sometimes people say, you know, it's the choose God, you know, the husband is choosing the wife, but I still had to make a choice. You know, I still had to say, okay, I can do this. This wasn't, you just choose me and I follow along. That's not how that works. And so I, you know, choosing to be in that marriage and continuing to stay in the marriage and grind out those throughout that time, you know, is growth. And like Keita says, like, you change. I am not the same person I was when I met my husband. I mean, my husband was 19, I was 21. Yes, I'm a cougar. Thank you. And, you know, I am not that person. And even becoming, you know, having my daughter now, I'm different. You know, I've evolved. Things that used to bother me don't bother me as much. And I think that, you know, what Keita and Roz and I all have in common is just we're not stopping our grind. We're not stopping our shine. We are not stopping being the alpha women that we are. And as long as our husbands are continuing to support us, and encourage and motivate and love us, I'm good. And, you know, we can be on the same page, and we can, and like Keita said, everything's not perfect. There's no perfect marriage. And I think that's one thing that people have to get out of their minds, is that they think that it's going to be, you know, I always say lollipops, rainbows, and unicorns, right? Because that's the ultimate fairy tale, right? And people think that that's going to happen, but you have to understand that throughout marriage, it's going to be a transition. It's going to be times of change, but you still have to be yourself. And that's one thing, I never lose myself. I don't care. My parents worked too hard. My ancestors, I always say my ancestors invested too much time and gave up and sacrificed too much for me to not be fully what they wanted me to be.
I love that. I love that. So guys, I am remiss because I got excited when I saw your faces, because we haven't seen each other in so long with this pandemic, that I didn't tell anybody what you guys do.
Oh,
I know, we just started talking.
I know, we started
went right into it.
Preacher moments.
So, Dr. Keita, you want to start? Tell everyone about yourself.
Okay. Hey. All right. So officially, everybody, aside from like someone who uber loves Dr. Roz, I am a success maximizer and motivational teacher. I have my own life coaching and consulting business called Success Uncensored Coaching. And when it comes to one-on-one coaching or helping entrepreneurs, influencers, leaders, and athletes, I specialize in helping that group when they're dealing with a transition. So let's say, for instance, a college athlete getting ready to go into the NFL, helping them with that transition, or maybe a professional who's dealing with a divorce and coming out of that. What does this new life look for me now after that? So helping people with those different transitions, or transitioning from a 9 to 5 to entrepreneurship, like that shift. So anytime you're going through a major shift, they call on Dr. Keita Joy with Success Uncensored Coaching. I've been doing it now for about 7 years. And then obviously with that, when you become an expert in certain matters, and people always want you to speak. But I love motivating people. Specifically, I just love empowering people to do their best. I'm big on application. So that's the life coach in me. If I'm going to talk somewhere, afterwards you're going to be like, oh, you know what? Dr. Joy taught me how to do this. Or now after hearing her speak, I can employ this method, like something. Like I want you to not just feel good, you know, like how Tenisha was talking about the lollipops and the rainbows, you know, like I don't want you just to have that when you hear me speak. I want you to afterwards be like, dang, all right, Keita, I'm gonna work on that. Like that's what brings me joy. But that's to sum it up. I've been really fortunate to work with partnerships with Facebook, YWCA, like I said, with OWN, the NFLPA. Truly been a blessing. So thank you.
And wait, you just got a new partnership that I think I read on Facebook?
Yeah, that's the one. I know. God is so good. That's with YWCA. They're national and global, but their national office is located actually in DC. And yeah, and I love their mission. They hired me to do a couple of leadership talks and keynotes. The COO loved me so much and said, oh my gosh, you are definitely the solution to a lot of issues that we have right now, because their company is in transition. And so they hired me from now until December to do coaching and consulting for their company. And just to, I know Malia was talking about that, and you were, Dr. Roz, how we need more women of color, Black women in these leadership positions. So whether it's in political realm, government, entertainment, it doesn't matter. We need more women, Black women in leadership positions. And so the COO actually hired me, who now is the CEO, Black woman. And so this is a company, even though they're for empowering all women, they still have a heavy, high volume of white women who are in leadership roles in their company. It's like, well, that don't even go with y'all mission, neither here nor there. So I'm grateful that she is truly an example of what we're supposed to do. Once she got into that position, she was like, I want to make sure I find a competent, excellent Black woman to pull in and be in a leadership role. And I'm very fortunate that she selected my company to be able to do that. But just to speak to that power, when Black women get in leadership positions, it opens up doors for us to bring up other Black women into those leadership not thinking about us.
Yeah.
They not. Even when they say they are, they not. The only people who are going to think about us is us. So we have to continue getting in those leadership roles so we can bring other people up. So I'm fortunate to be able to have offer consulting services for their company for the remainder of the year. Really awesome.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congrats. So super proud of you. So super proud of you. Congratulations. You are the perfect person for the job.
Thank you.
And Tenisha, tell us all about everything that you do.
So I am a business and legal consultant, attorney by trade. I work with athletes, so current and former professional athletes. And I also have a segment of my business that I work specifically with women entrepreneurs. I also own a tropical smoothie franchise in Charlotte. I co-own that with my husband. I also am an advocate for infertility awareness, actually coming out with a book next month. Yay. It is called Faith, Friendship, and Fertility. So I'm excited about that. And that's my passion. My philanthropic work goes towards that. I also am a new mom, and so I'm very, very excited about my little baby Banks. and I'm just a good spirited person that likes to start businesses, help people with their businesses, help women specifically and athletes, because my husband's an athlete. I worked in athletics for over 15 years. And I think a lot of athletes getting taken advantage of. And so that's my passion, is to really go in, help them off the field, and start businesses and be businessmen and businesswomen.
And speaking of that, back to when we came to visit down in Charlotte, and you had to take that phone call. The girls were at the window like this. Who's she talking to? Is it somebody important? They were so amazing.
I have been so blessed. And I will say, along with Dr. Keita, I will say with her that COVID has affected a lot of people and has really been detrimental in a lot of people's lives. But I will say COVID has been my season. This pandemic really has the butterfly in me. And I literally have been so blessed, and not only with my baby girl, but just in business. I just closed on my first $30 million deal. So I am excited about that. That was, and I will say this about season. I'll take a moment to just have a praise moment. I know, Roz, I'm about the Lord.
Absolutely.
So I will have a praise moment because I spoke something into existence about 2 years ago, and I started to speak of affirmations. And one of the things I wanted to do was, first thing I wanted to get my client, and I said, Julius Peppers is going to be my client. I spoke it into existence. About 2 months later, Julius gave me a phone call and said, hey, I need you to be my consultant. Come on in on my team. I said, next thing, I'm going to do a deal where it's like a Whole Foods kind of complex, commercial real estate. It's going to be a huge multi-million-dollar deal. I spoke it into existence. And it took 2 years for it to happen. But when it culminated and happened, it's about the power of speaking things into existence and the power of the tongue. And so I always tell people, like, you have to be careful how you speak, right? And even like in your relationships, because, I'm trying to circle back to our success and submission, right? In your relationship, you gotta be careful how you speak, because when you speak things into existence, it happens. And so I firmly believe in like the power of the tongue. And so that is my praise moment, is that I prayed and I said, God, this is what I want to do. And God showed out. So I just will give that moment right now.
Congratulations. Yes, we're praising with you, Tenisha.
I am so excited. And I'm in positions right now where it literally is, you look at yourself, and I know, Keita, you could probably attest to this, is you look at yourself and you're like, oh my gosh, am I supposed to be here? Is this what, like, and being there.
And we still just warming up, Tenisha. We
what
still
you
warming
say?
up.
Look, I'm 36. I got a long way to go. So I just really wanted to just acknowledge that moment because I think it's the power of the tongue. It really is. It's a powerful thing. It really is.
I always say, Tenisha, speak what you speak until you see what you said.
Mm-hmm. Amen. I love it. I love it.
And that's what you did, honey. The power of the tongue. I mean, think about it. That's how God created the whole world.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
The
But
power
you
of
know
those
what,
words. Those words are no joke.
Tanisha, I will say this. You have such a spirit of humility. I called you and I said, my baby girl needs a job. And without a shadow of a doubt, you're like, okay, so tell her to send me a resume, tell her to do this. Until this day, she is so excited about working for you guys.
I love her, and she is such a great person. I think, you know what I will say to that is that my grandma, I'm a grandma person. And I think the old school grandmas are so valuable, right? And I being connected now with my daughter, I'm like, ancestors are so important. We got to listen to their wisdom and spirit. And my grandmother always said to me, you always treat people the way that you want to be treated. You are no better than anyone else, no matter how much money you have, no matter how much success you have. And that has been something I've taken throughout my whole entire career, taking the time, right? And just being present. And I think sometimes in this day and age with social media, it's so easy to not be present, with your phone access to not be present. And so for me, like, that's important. It is literally like, I have to be there. I got to be present. I got to be focused, and just make sure that I'm present with her. I love her, by the way. She is such a sweet girl, and she's welcome back anytime she wants to come back.
Yeah, listen, she's trying to get to Charlie to get back to you. And when she found out, okay, so first of all, let me just say this. Let me have a big cousin gushy moment. Banks is so adorable.
Thank you.
And already camera ready.
Oh,
like already.
Blame
like
her
came
daddy.
out the womb like,
Blame her daddy. He has a full photo shoot with her every day.
I love it. I love it. But knowing your story, and I want to talk a little bit about that, because I know you're very open about that.
Oh
and
yeah, I'm very open.
Women really struggle with infertility, you know, and it is not an easy thing to talk about. And I mean, I know you had losses. I don't remember how many, but I know Keita and I, we were in fervent prayer. Like, I hope this one works. I hope this one works. I think we were saying that. And, you know, just being so grateful.
Thank you.
That you have your rainbow baby.
Oh, she's
Can you talk a
everything.
little bit about, because you were writing blogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were writing blogs through the whole time, like really talking about the hurt, the pain, everything that took place. But it wasn't in a woe is me kind of way. It was more as, this is my journey. I'm going to keep trusting God, and we're going to figure this thing out.
Well, see, here's the thing, right? And I think this is where the alpha mentality comes in, because I'm a type A personality and I'm an overachiever. I'm a perfectionist about things. Those are things that I am fully aware about myself. That's that self-awareness, right, Dr. Keita? Self-awareness.
Yes.
And so this was one thing that I could not figure out. I said, well, what if I am doing all these things? I checked out the boxes. I did the steps, right? You know, I went to school. I found my husband. We dated. We got engaged. We got married. Then I tried to get pregnant, right? So then why can't I have this baby that I want so badly? Why is this the only thing in my life that if I don't work, if I'm working hard at it, why can't I get that? And I struggle with that because it was one of those things where I couldn't figure it out. The math, right? The math just didn't add up. And so throughout what I found to be cathartic to me was the writing, to journal and say, I didn't want to be in the groups, and I'm nothing wrong with those groups that are just support groups that, you know, you can vent. There's nothing wrong with that. But I didn't want that because I said to me, I need the energy that is going to make me uplift. That's going to be that energy that's going to say, regardless of what has happened, God promised me my baby. And I needed to trust that promise because we've always been told that all we need was the faith the size of a mustard seed. So then if we know that, then if that's what God has told me, and everything that has happened since then has always been, this is what it's been, and then this is what has happened. Why would this be different now? And so I suffered 5 losses. 2 of them were I had to give birth to my daughters. And throughout that time, I suffered loss, and I went through loss, and it was deaths in my family. I lost my grandmother. My husband lost his grandmother, and Roz and I lost our grandmother as well. And I said, and then I lost my dog. I said, Lord, you're taking my dog too. I was just like, wow. But all of those things culminated into my baby girl. And it was a faith journey. It was a strength journey. I'm so much stronger because of that. But my purpose in that journey was specifically for women of color. Because if you look at the infertility awareness and you look at all the pictures and you go to the clinics, it's always women who are white women. And I hate to say it like that, but I mean, that's what it is. And most women of color cannot necessarily afford, unfortunately, fertility treatments. They're super expensive. I mean, it's just ridiculous why insurance don't even cover this. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to be the face for my segment, for people who want to hear my voice and know that it's not your fault. This is not something that is marked on you, that you did something wrong, that it is okay, and you have a village that is here to support you, encourage you, motivate you, and regardless of how you become a mother, that you're still a mother, right? So even before I had baby Banks, I was still a mother. I celebrated Mother's Day just like everybody else because I give birth to my daughters, and therefore I am a mother. And so I think acknowledging that, and then also making people have a safe space. And ironically, I had more husbands reaching out to me than women, because they didn't know how to support their wives. They said, well, how am I, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, she's just there, you know, she suffered a loss and I don't know what to do. How do I encourage her? How do I get her back? Because sometimes when you go through a loss, and some women can attest to this, you feel like a shell of yourself because you don't know, you're feeling those emotions of still being pregnant, but you don't have the baby. And so then now you don't know how to feel. And so I, would say to any husband that has a wife that suffered, or even significant other spouse, encourage, just be there, be present, just sitting there. Sometimes just your energy itself, being positive and, and just kind of going on throughout the day and loving up on them is a way to help encourage. But that's my journey. I keep preaching about my journey, and I wouldn't change one thing about it because my baby girl is everything. And I know that I had to go through all of that to be who I am right now.
Yeah. And every time I would read one of your blogs, I would be like, this girl got amazing strength. Like, where is all that coming from? Where is it coming from?
Jesus.
Yeah, right.
I would say, right. You know what? I would say Jesus and my grandmother. And I say this because my grandmothers, both of them, but my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, was such a strong woman. And I always looked at her and I said, if you can go through dialysis Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you can sit there and you can go through dialysis for 4 hours, I can stick this shot in my butt. I'm like, I can suck this up and I can do this because I think about that because I just, value, like, I'm doing this because I'm choosing to do this. She was doing that because she had to do that, so that's where my strength came from, really, because I couldn't. How can you complain when they never complain,
Yeah,
Grandma Margaret never complained.
Never. She was the most pious woman I know.
Never complained.
Never complained. Never complained. You are absolutely right. Absolutely right. Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
I'm seeing in the chat that has helped a lot of people. Dr. Keita, you are also very open with your own mental health challenges. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So sometimes I'm amazed at myself at how open I am. I think oftentimes when people see someone so open, they think it's easy. And I just want to put this blanket statement out for people. Like, if you see someone sharing their story, it's not that it's easy. It's just we're being obedient. We're being obedient to purpose. And we understand that our calling is for the greater good. We understand that it's not just about self. that whatever we're experiencing, whatever that we're going through, is to help someone else. And I think sometimes when people think, oh my gosh, they just shared all this, how could you do it? Shoot, half the time I don't even know how I just did it. I did it because I'm not thinking about myself. I'm thinking about the people it's going to help. So the mental illness that I have is called trichotillomania. And what's so crazy is when it comes to the Black community, especially just minority groups in general, this is a mental illness that almost is unheard of. It's hardly even talked about. And so I'm excited to be able to share with this group more information about what it is. So when the mental illness, it starts around 11, onset between 11 to 13. That's where it starts to happen the most. And it is a hair pulling disorder. And it usually stems from some form of traumatic experience that happens to you in your adolescent years. And so with that traumatic experience, for whatever reason, you had a difficult time dealing with it. Obviously, think about it when you're an adult and you have a traumatic experience. So if you're a child and you're not equipped with the necessary tools and you're not mature enough, it's difficult. And so with all that anxiety, dealing with that loss, my father died of a brain aneurysm in his sleep, and it was something that was suddenly. So literally, I still remember at one moment, I'm playing tennis with him. We're eating lunch. We're walking around at the mall. Like, he was super healthy. That was back in the day where they wore Fila, was in style. So he had the Fila tennis shorts with the matching t-shirt, the gold chain. Like, you couldn't tell my daddy anything. And I say that to say he was so healthy, right? And then think about it. You're 11, and then 2 days later, all of a sudden, he's just not here. My brain just could not wrap around that truth. Like, nope, doesn't make sense. Just saw him healthy with muscles. Like, nope. And so I resorted to pulling my hair out to cope with the stressor and the pain of that loss. And so my mother battled with drugs and alcohol, which is probably also part of the dysfunction I dealt with. And she didn't know how to help me. And so her main goal was, I don't want my child to be embarrassed. I was the only child. I was her baby. She was like, I don't want her to be embarrassed. I may not know what to do, but I know I don't want my child. You know, Black folks, I don't want my baby out there being embarrassed and people making fun of my baby, you know? So she always made sure I had hairstyles that covered that bald spot. So all we were doing was just covering, right? And that's how shame comes, because I'm not dealing. I'm covering. How much do we do that even as adults? We don't deal. We cover it up with what we wear. We cover it up with the makeup that we put on. We cover it up with the next relationship that we're in. We just cover things up because we don't want to deal. So at an early age, I didn't know what this illness was. I just knew, cover it up, hide it. Don't share it with anybody. This is an ugly, dirty secret. You don't tell people you pull your hair out. That's weird. And, you know, especially in the Black community, our hair is everything. Honey, we got the lace fronts, the faux locks, the braids, the wraps, you name it. Currently, ponytails, I mean, you name it. We're at the forefront when it comes to hairstyles. But with that, think about with your self-esteem as a child, knowing I'm covering up something that is so celebrated in our community was very hard for me to deal with. It wasn't until my 20s. Can you imagine? I just said this is at 11. Come on now. That's the grace of God, still sustaining me, still strengthening me, even when I didn't know what the hell was going on with me, right? That's the power of God. So it wasn't until my 20s I'm like, wait a minute, I'm still doing this. This cannot be normal. Something's not right. So thank goodness for Google. I go on Google and I'm just like, hair pulling, what in the world? All these resources come up. There's this whole community of people who knew about this mental illness. But guess what? They don't look like us. None of them look like us. So this white community all over the nation getting help, all the way from when they're kids, getting help with trichotillomania and skin picking as well. So it's hair pulling and skin picking disorder. And so I started, you know, seeing a therapist, getting open about it. I started going to support groups, learning more about trichotillomania, and it was very freeing for me. Sometimes you don't realize even little things that you're covering up, the amount of weight and shame that you're heaping upon yourself. And sometimes you wonder why you have health issues, or you wonder why you're so stressed. And we always say, oh, it's because of work. A lot of times it ain't because of work. is because you got so many undealt with issues that are bringing you down. That's why you're sick, seriously. And so I didn't even realize I had this huge weight of not dealing with this hair pulling disorder until I found my tribe. And I'm sure Tenisha can attest to that. That's what she's doing for so many people when it deals with infertility. Like, you have to find your tribe of support. And so for the first time ever, it's called TLC, this group. They help people with skin picking and hair pulling disorders. I was a keynote speaker a couple years ago. That's what I'm saying, crazy. I'm working through my stuff, and I'm a keynote speaker for 500 people, telling them about my journey. But that was healing for me. I was healing while I was healing others at the same time. So it was just an instant reciprocity. And now I was amazed at how many Black families, Black mothers have reached out to me and said, I didn't know what this was, and my daughter does it. Or I didn't know what this was, and I do it. Oftentimes I have friends who say they pick their nails to the point where it's bleeding and think it's normal just because I'm stressed. I'm like, that is a skin picking disorder. That is a mental illness, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. And so one of the things that I try to do as a life coach is to be a face for it, and just for mental illness in general, because a lot of times we're like, oh, we need to drop the stigma. But one of the best ways to drop the stigma is for us to personally talk about our own issues, but freely. The same way I'm talking about, I just came from the outlet mall. I can freely tell you that I see a therapist and I have mental issues, mental illness issues that I deal with from time to time. It should be natural. And so I think we're getting there. Oftentimes people say we need a therapist, but they don't say they have one. It's just, oh yes, everybody needs one. Do you have one? No. But everybody needs one though. Okay, but why you don't have one? But you're strong, but you're saying everybody else is weak. So I think when we start being transparent and making it seem the same way you got a glass of wine or you went to hang out with friends, you went to see a therapist. Like, it's the same type of thing, no biggie. And so that's my goal, just being transparent with my journey. And I'm still healing. It's still a process. I actually have a bracelet. It's not it, it's my Apple Watch. But I have a bracelet I'm getting fixed. It monitors how many times I pull my hair in a certain place so I can keep track of it. Wow. And then it's for self-awareness, not to make you feel guilty, but just to say, oh, okay, well, if I'm doing it now, I can just put my hand down. I don't have, it just kind of gives you that awareness. And so I like to encourage everyone here. It's just about how you can be your best. And everybody that looks different for everybody else. So you don't have to have the same coping mechanisms that someone else has. What I need to do to be successful is going to be different than what you need to do to be successful. So what helped me with my mental illness actually is my success formula for my business, which is do you, do it well, and do it consistently. So maybe like right now, I see a therapist once a week right now, just because I'm working through some things specifically and I want to keep that growth going. That's how I look at it. I'm like, I don't know about you. See me, I'm in the winner's circle. I don't look at, oh, this makes me look a certain way. If this is going to help me get to my goal, then sign me up. I'm like, I'm here, And so if we can have that attitude, figure out what it is for you to do you, to be successful, for your mental health, for your personal and fit with one else. What do you need and behold? So for me, I got to have a bracelet that reminds me, hey, little girl, stop picking your hair. Everyone else may not need that. Maybe you need something else. Yoga, meditation, church, accountability partners, therapy sessions, a life coach. You have to figure out what it is for you to be mentally healthy. And that's been my journey. And it's still my journey as I continue to evolve as a woman and then also help other people evolve as well.
Thank you. As a psychologist, I'm like,
yes, here.
I know you are. I know it. I know.
Listen, I love my therapist.
Okay.
Like we all need one. There is nothing wrong with having a therapist, and for our community, let's be clear about our community. I tell people all the time, having a therapist doesn't mean that you don't trust God.
Girl, oh my God. Right.
You can have Jesus, a prayer life, and a therapist.
And some coffee. And a glass of wine. And who's going to check you? All of them. Okay?
Like, this is my funny joke about Keita. Keita is the only person I know that hit you with a scripture and then got Cardi B playing in the background.
I know, all right. But you know why I do that, Dr. Roz? Because people act like that's not their life. Like they come on social media, and don't get me wrong, if that's all you listen to and all you listen to is gospel music, I applaud you. I think that's amazing. I'm not here to tell anybody what you're supposed to listen to. But I know the people I hang out with, young and old, let's be clear, 50s too, their music selection varies back and forth. And so for us to paint this picture to the world, yeah, I only listen to this. No, you don't. No, you don't. I just saw you like Cardi B picture.
Remember, that's the lollipops,
Thank you.
and rainbows, all that.
Absolutely.
All of that, Tenisha. I'm like, and I'm done with all of that, especially in this, girl, my evolution now, I don't have time for being pretentious, fake, anything other than my authentic self. This is me. I'm hood and holy, ratchet and classy.
Sophista ratchet. I like that.
Hello.
Wait, I hadn't heard hood and holy. That is hilarious.
Hood and holy, girl. I'm from Miami. I can't help it. I'm like, I'm 30. I'm about to be 39. And sometimes I be like, oh, Lord, help me, because they're going to catch these hands. Come back. Bring them back. Holy hands only. Holy hands.
Amen.
Well, ladies, I love you both dearly. Keita, I know you're with your babies on spring break, so thank you for checking in with us.
I'm in the Whole Foods parking lot right now and getting my whole life together. People probably walking by getting encouraged because I'm on Bluetooth. They probably like, ooh, this is
they can hear you. Oh, yeah, they can definitely hear you.
That's all right.
Testimony in the car.
Look, they needed the word too. Amen. Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
I thank you, ladies. I love you to pieces, and thank you so much for being here. I want to give the audience maybe about 10 minutes to ask questions. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and unmute your mic and ask the question. Anybody? Maybe there are no questions. Let me see if I missed any. Oh, I see a lot of comments.
We talked a lot. you had two people that we love to talk. So
no, that's why I was like, you ladies would be perfect. Now, if we had Audrey here, Lord, this would be like a
you need a whole day. You need a whole day.
Dr. Roz?
Yes.
I don't necessarily have a question. I just have a testimony of empowerment for this moment you have gifted all of us today. I have to say, just the movement, the spirit, and the energy, starting with the Honorable Cohen to these young ladies, y'all making me feel like this the dumbest couch bum in the room. And that is, that's exciting, because your circle should be of people who are just nailing life and nailing it. You should not be the most essential gem in your circle. And you guys are just making me feel like step up and step out, just transparency with your stories as a therapist. I see you, Dr. Keita. I see you. To Tenisha Brown and everybody out there, I too had that we would never have kids story, and now there's 3 of them tearing this house up. I got
Won't you do it?
Girl Scout situation.
Go send me some Samoas, please.
Going on in the background. So, and there's nothing wrong with being hood and holy or anything like that. But I just want to say thank you guys all for the gift that you guys are giving. And this energy, I too want to speak it, speak the things that I seek. I had said before too that there are things that we want in life that we have to say out loud. And I've got a husband that I can whisper my dreams in his ear at night. And then by the time we get up in the morning, he is helping me figure out how we're going to get it. And so it's a blessing. So I know your husband will let you move to Rome, Georgia. Roz, he not.
I know my cousin. I don't know about that.
He's like, I love you. But
yeah, I won't let me move back home too. I'm a New Yorker.
Frank is not letting her go to Rome, Georgia. No. You can visit.
Just for election season. You know, a little condo down at the stop sign? Nothing like that, no?
Because
But-
it's the idea that he would have to work in Atlanta and he's not dealing with Atlanta traffic. The country living, oh, he could do that because he's in Charleston, South Carolina. He can do that.
Oh, I got Dr. Roz, I got cut off. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, is that Dr. Keita?
Yes.
Yeah. We can hear you.
Okay. I wanted to just say goodbye to everybody before I log off. I know y'all probably said so much stuff already.
Dr. Keita, this is Dr. Camille Jones. I will be stalking you. I want to be a part of this process and empire of coaching, helping, building. I'm speaking it now so that you guys, in a year or two, when I come back, y'all gonna say that was Camille sitting next to Dr. Keita on own, having TED Talks and all
Yes,
that.
power of that tongue. Yes.
Keep blossoming, Dr. Keita.
And let me just tell y'all, Camille is being very modest because Camille is Dr. Camille, and she's one of our honorees today. So
congratulations.
Camille's good. She's good. But I will plug this. Dr. Camille is doing the Clinician Fest. So Keita,
I think she had to go for the kids.
Oh, okay. She had to go. So Camille, I'll connect you with Keita so you can get her on the panel.
Can I mention that for a second? Just for those, and I see some NCCU students in here. I wanted to say I am the product of two eagles that fly high. Both my parents are graduates of NCCU. I knocked on 72 virtual doors asking for support to help me in battling mental health awareness in Black and Brown communities. None of those doors opened. And so I took it upon myself to build a door, and Clinician Fest was born. My little sister, the baby girl of the family, Beth, who I believe is on this call, for Christmas, I wanted a Gucci bag. And instead, she gifted me a virtual conference platform. Woo. Yes, sir. Yes, I needed a keynote speaker. I called Roz and I said, Roz, I'm putting on this conference. You know anybody who could be my keynote speaker? I had a plan all along. But she said, yeah, girl, I can do it. She was like, me. And I said, you sure? You sure? Meanwhile, I had a plan 3 days before that phone call. I had a little sheet, Dr. Roz call. And then I need you to know that when doors open, do not be afraid to create. What you know is needed and necessary and must exist. Do not be afraid to make it and build it. And so on May 6th through May 7th, I've invited all clinicians to partner with us through clinicianfest.com. I want y'all to follow that at clinicianfest.com. I think my husband is on here. He's my hype man. So put it in the chat box, boo. Put it in the chat box. I want y'all to follow every speaker that's been in this forum because they all have a message and a word that we need to move and carry forward. We spoke before about how when Dr. Keita was saying that there's a young lady who is sitting at a seat at the table, and she invited Dr. Keita to that table. That has to be our recipe. Everybody says, Camille, why are you still a Fed? Why are you still a Fed? Because I give contracts to small-owned minority businesses. Because I give summer internships to HBCUs. Because last week, I decided to take on Bowie State University to partner with this HBCU Partnership Act that our homegirl, Kamala, them put together for $3 million worth of innovation hubs. When you have a seat at the table, that seat comes with responsibilities. Now, I know there's a couple people sitting at the table, a little reckless and wild, okay? We don't gotta be there. We don't gotta be there. We don't gotta do that, okay? But when you have a seat of influence, recognize your responsibility to follow the recipe of bringing another one with you. And when you bring that other one, you don't charge them for that seat. Amen. You charge them to make sure that when it's their turn, they bring somebody else. And that's how we continue this. Thank you, Roz.
That was fantastic. That's why she's an honoree.
I was like, why is she talking about she feel like a sad couch potato? No, ma'am, that is not you at all. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
I love you, Roz. And I thank you, ladies, so much. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, who listen to me today. I appreciate it so much. I appreciate the space, the time. You know, I love you so much, and I think you're amazing, as always.
I think you're amazing. We have this love fest every time we see each other. Like, I love you, I love you, I love
Yes, and I will give a shout out. One shout out. I saw my line sister. She is on here supporting me, Dr. Sharika Brookins, and she is on here supporting me. So I just want to give a shout out to her because I love her. But,
Hey, Soror.
yes. Thank you, Roz. I love you so much.
I love you too, babes. I love you too. And hug little Banks for me.
I will.
Can't wait to meet her when we get out of this pandemic.
Yes. All righty.
All right. Have a good one, sweetie.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. All right. Thank you, everybody. We are at that special moment where we are about to honor our honorees. So first of all, Renee Butler is normally my Zoom person because I don't ever have a clue of what I'm doing when it comes to techie stuff. But she's been honored today, so I was like, that'd be real trifling if I asked her to come help me. But let me just tell you how great she is. I just saw that she put a message in, make me co-host so I could do the back end. I love her. I love her because she knows I don't know what I'm doing. She knows I don't have a clue. But what I'm about to do now is pin all of our honorees. And where's Kara? So one of our honorees is not going to be able to make it today. She is actually volunteering with the Red Cross in Texas. So there is something that happened there that she's helping out.
Here I am, Dr. Roz.
I'm looking for, I know I saw Kara earlier.
I'm right here.
Oh, there you go, there you go, there you go, there you go. I was like, where is she? Where's that pretty face at? So these are honorees. So if everyone, now again, y'all know I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to attempt to share my screen because I prepared a video. And I had it queued up, but child, I don't know what I'm doing. So if I gotta fumble a little bit, y'all just love me, okay? And just give me grace, because I don't know what I'm doing. All right, see, I can admit when I don't know what I'm doing. So if you hold 1 second, I'm going to share my screen. Well, first of all, let me say this. These ladies that you see on your screen. So this is my third year. This is my third year doing this event. And the first 2 years, I kind of handpicked the people that I wanted to honor because I was like, oh, I want it intimate. Oh, I just, I see women out here that are doing a lot, but people don't know who they are. And so that was my reasoning for doing this empowerment luncheon. But I was like, there are so many fantastic women that are doing amazing things in our community. And we just don't know. We just don't know what they're doing because people aren't going around saying, hey, I'm a Fed and I'm bringing seats to the table. Like, people aren't going around saying that. People are very humble about how genius that they are. So this year I opened up the nominations and we got a lot of nominations that came in. But I am happy to say that the 5 that were picked are doing some amazing things. I was reading their bios and I was reading the recommendation letters and reading the nomination form. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, Black women really are the salt of the earth. We are out here doing some fantastic stuff. So I without further ado, I'm going to try to find this video that I put together at 5 a.m. And prayerfully I can find it. So y'all give me 2 seconds, 2 shakes of a second, and let me try to figure this out.
Well, while you do that, I can say bye to everybody, Dr. Roz.
Yes, please. Yes,
Well,
I saw that you
filler
came
right now. Yes, so just a official goodbye to everyone. I truly appreciated the time with all of you today, even though I couldn't physically see you or talk to you, I felt your presence. You guys kept saying you love our energy. Well, I could feel you guys as well. So thank you for taking the time to listen to our stories, listen to our truth. Thank you, Dr. Roz, for having me. If you're interested in more inspiration and motivation and empowerment from Success Uncensored Coaching, I'm always online, especially on Instagram. So feel free to follow me at the Dr. Keita Joy. So THEDRKEITAJOY, and I put it in the chat area. And that's where you'll see all of my silliness, my TikToks and motivational quotes and all that fun stuff. So feel free to follow me there. Blessings to all of the winners, and continued blessings to you, Dr. Roz, and all that you can see.
Thank you, Keita. Thank you. Love you, girl. Thank you. All right. I am going to. Do y'all see that screen? Renee, is the screen up?
Yeah, I can see it.
You can
Yes.
see it? Oh, praise ye. Look, praise ye the Lord. Okay, because if we couldn't, I don't know what was about to happen. All right. Here we go. Congratulations to Carrie Williams. Dr. Roz serves Exemplary Citizen honoree. Carrie holds a degree in political science and public policy. She is a former project manager with AARP and currently an educator teaching abroad, specifically in Asia and the Middle East. Carrie is a reading literacy specialist volunteer with Reading Partners of Baltimore, a nonprofit that provides reading volunteers to underserved Title I schools to help improve their reading and close the literacy gap. She also helps to mentor and train other reading specialist volunteers. She is also an anti-bullying advocate and published author of a children's book, The Bully and Me. She mentors young students to find ways to redirect and to speak up and speak out against bullying. Currently, she's a disaster response volunteer with the American Red Cross. She provides emergency resources such as sheltering, food, financial and mental health referrals, and support to individuals and families impacted by fire, flood, tornado, and other natural disasters. She is an ambassador for Survive the Struggling, a nonprofit organization that collects and distributes gently used purses filled with toiletries and hygiene products for homeless women and young girls living on the streets or in shelters. She is a proud charter member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, the first Middle East alumni chapter located in Dubai. Congratulations again, Carrie Williams, Dr. Roz serves Exemplary Citizen honoree. Congratulations to Zakia Marbury, Dr. Roz serves Exemplary Citizen honoree. Zakia is an international motivational speaker, best-selling author, and certified mindset coach, and the owner of B Global Diversity and Inclusion Strategic Planning. She provides specialized inclusion training for corporate, nonprofits, and government organizations, stressing the importance of intersectionality, and is the host of the Game Changer Chat. Through the Thrive Champion Club, she mentors, empower, and encourage individuals to use their authentic voices to make impactful changes by sharing their lived experiences via writing articles, writing books, podcasts, speaking engagements, and media. As a result, women have increased their presence online. She volunteers with the NAACP, Order of the Eastern Star, and Women of the Word Ministry for Neabasco Baptist Church. Congratulations again to Zakia Mayberry, Dr. Roz serves Exemplary Citizen honoree. Congratulations to Kyra Davenport. Dr. Roz serves Exemplary Citizen honoree. Kyra graduated from Howard University with an MA in Mass Communications and Media Studies. She received a BA in English from Tuskegee University. She is an Army veteran and is the founder of Reset Yoga Collective. She also works for DoD as a risk analyst contractor at the Pentagon. Kyra mentors and trains volunteer yoga teachers at her yoga studio so that they can assist the community in trauma healing. Kyra volunteers with the Alexandria Sexual Assault Center and fights for trauma survivors healing through her yoga studio and online community, Reset Yoga Collective. It's a lifelong commitment for her to see people heal trauma through yoga as an act of self-love and self-preservation. Congratulations again to Kyra Davenport. Dr. Roz serves Exemplary Citizen honoree. Congratulations to Renee Butler. Dr. Roz serves Exemplary Citizen honoree. Renee serves as the Chief Executive Officer for Renee Butler Inc., an IT professional and consulting firm. She has an MS in Government Information Leadership with a concentration in Chief Information Officer Leadership. She has a BS in Management Information Science and Systems from Morgan State University. She is a certified Chief Information Officer from the National Defense University. She serves as a mentor for both men and women in the following capacities: career professional mentor in IT, cybersecurity, project management in the areas of career development, financial acuity, credit management, business ownership, leadership, and the road to collegiate success. Renee Butler states that volunteering is important to her because she truly believes and lives by the motto that service is the rent we pay on earth. Her community service includes Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, So Others May Eat, the NAACP, Morgan State University Alumni Association, the American Heart Association, and the Pearl Elegance Foundation. Again, congratulations to Renee Butler. Dr. Roz serves Exemplary Citizen honoree. Congratulations to Dr. Camille Adams Jones. Dr. Roz serves Exemplary Citizen honoree. Dr. Jones is a therapeutic consultant and project manager. She's established a collaborative platform for psychologists, psychiatrists, social workers, counselors, and mental health caseworkers to advance the reach, talent, and tools of practitioners serving minority populations known as Clinician Fest. Through this vessel, she is mentoring a pipeline of over 1,675 clinicians of color to aid in the charge for clinical care for us, by us. Dr. Jones developed a flagship workplace wellness program via federal employee assistance programs to enrich the capabilities of federal managers and supervisors' abilities to partner with their staff during seasons of uncertainty. Her efforts have developed mental health first aid training tracks in 5 federal agencies. Her introduction of soft skills to include empathy and compassion approaches without the sacrifice of productivity and accountability in federal practice are helping shift organizational culture and policy. Dr. Jones finds it to be important to be a model of service and a gift of resources, time, and talent in an effort to uplift a community or cause in need. Volunteering is simply her means of paying forward gratitude. Her community service includes Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Jack and Jill of America, Chief of Social Responsibility and Outreach for Bearing Point, and Diversity and Inclusion Chair for Charlton Jones Therapeutic Consulting. Congratulations again to Dr. Camille Adams Jones, Dr. Roz Serves, Exemplary Citizen Honoree. Yay!
I know.
So excited. You women are amazing.
So much.
And here are our honorees. Can we all give them like hand claps? Ladies, so first of all, I'm excited the video played. Thank you, Jesus. It's just the little things, Jesus, just the little things. So thank you, Jesus. But ladies, you are fantastic.
You are fantastic. Thank you.
No, thank you for all that you do. The world needs to know that you exist. The world needs to know just how amazing we are as Black women. Like all this Black girl magic.
Oh yeah, Black women are the bum dig.
Come on.
Bum dig.
Sure. Aren't we? Aren't we
absolute bum dig.
Aren't we though?
Yes.
So I highlighted you because I wanted you to be able to say anything that you want to say, any words of encouragement, how to tell people to reach out to you,
Oh, sure.
how to tell people how to follow you, all of that. We'll start with, I see you first, Camille. We'll start with you first.
Okay, I think I've already extended my grace and advice to this audience, but I do appreciate you, Dr. Roz. There are so many that work in the shadows that never peek their head out to be acknowledged, and I have been that for many, many years, and I am learning to accept the stars and the accolades that come my way, if only to use the platform to help promote my message. So I thank you all. I do ask that you guys look out for me at Mrs. Doc Jones on Instagram as well as Twitter, and Clinician Fest. Clinician Fest is an important platform. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could do one thing in this segment, it is to promote mental health wellness. It is okay if you are not okay, because there's help out there for you. There is a limitation. We grew up thinking, I got two Southern parents. I was birthed in that what happens in this house stays in this house. But if it's destroying you from being you, it's okay to speak up and speak out. I'm working to build more community service practitioners that look like us. And in order to do that, we have to have a clientele willing to come forth and utilize our services. So please, right now, go ahead to and follow Clinician Fest on IG as well as on Twitter. You will see, and I'm Mrs. Doc Jones absolutely everywhere, as a form of just like helping us through this pandemic. I put together some Therapy Thursdays, Tell the Truth Tuesday videos on my Instagram to help people get through just this pandemic. I had to pause that because I'm a homeschooler as well as a full-time employee for a couple of people. So I give thanks and I give gratitude. I thank the light and legacy that make me everything that I am. That's both my parents as well as my heritage. I thank God for giving me the absolute greatest husband a girl could ever ask for, and Mr. Jerome Jones. I thank my village and my two sisters. I'm a middle child, so you know we come with those special issues, but I appreciate my sisters for never discounting my ability to always want to help and be present for those that needed me. And that's my big sister, Inga, my protector, and then my motivator, my baby sister, Beth Adams. And I thank you, Dr. Roz, for this platform. I thank you for understanding that there is a place for women. And if no one will allow us to stand on one, we shall build our own.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We must create our own. I always tell people if nobody will hire you, hire yourself. Absolutely. Absolutely. First of all, let me give a shout out to your sister. Because look at here, those platforms are not cheap. So yes, sister. Yes. They are not cheap. Lord Jesus, they're not cheap. That you were nominated. And I was hoping that I was like sending this out to women like, apply, apply, apply. You're right. There's so many women who are doing amazing things. And it's like, listen, the world needs to know you exist. Plain and simple. So thank you, Dr. Camille, for all that you do. Thank you. And congratulations. Our next person is Renee Butler. And let me just say this. I've been saying it throughout because I was so stressed out because I am not a techie. She is the tech guru and she knows how to do everything when it comes to this here Zoom. So I was freaking out, but I was like, I can't harass her if she's being honored. But then she was busy. She was busy. She had her own engagements today. So yeah, Renee.
Hi, Dr. Roz. Hello, everyone. Thank you guys so much for being here. I am so honored and privileged to share this stage with you amazing women. And thank you for creating this, Dr. Roz, to honor women and everything that we do. And I just want to piggyback off of what Camille said, because I am a believer. One of my favorite sayings is dream big. And I tell everyone, you know, when I was little, my mom told me that I could do and be anything that I wanted to become. And if God gives you the ability to dream it, he will also give you the ability to make it come true and to make it happen. My platform is I am Renee Butler everywhere. So at I am Renee Butler. And the one thing that Dr. Roz left out of her video that is one of my greatest passions in life is the foundation that we created called Goal Grinders. And we are at Goal Grinders Inc. and at Goal Grinders on Instagram. But I wanted to create a platform where we could bring our collective talents and really infuse that into children. I am a believer in teaching people how to fish. Anything that I learn, I'm going to teach because I want everyone else to know as well, because there's more than enough space out here for all of us to be great. There's more than enough money out here for all of us, you know, to be collecting the bag every single day. So if I learn it, I'm teaching it. I want everyone to be doing it. But most importantly, our young people are our leaders. And for me, I'm passionate about making sure that all of the things that make us great, we are infusing into the younger generation, because when we get old, they're going to be making decisions for us. And I want them to be like, if somebody is sitting at the table in Congress and they're about to pass a law that has something to do with me as I'm older, I want them to be like, oh, I remember that Goal Grinders Foundation and Miss Renee and Dr. Roz and Miss Olivia and Miss Beverly, and, you know, they did all of these phenomenal things for us. So we need to make sure that we take care of the people who took care of us when we were younger. So shameless plug, we have an event next Saturday. It's a Say No to Drugs and Alcohol virtual block party for our young people. So if you know some young people, please, please, please tell them to come. It's free. We give away cash. So I am always like, drop your cash app, girls and boys. And you can find it on www.goalgrinders.org. And I think that's it. I just want to say thank you. I love you, Dr. Camille. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of your hubby. I've known Camille for probably about 10 years now, and she is just a joy. And I'm just so honored to be here with you on this platform as well. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Dr. Roz. I love you.
Thank you for not making me feel small when I'm not technologically savvy, Renee.
It's okay. Tech has been my passion
Renee.
Since I was a kid. Like you guys, I was writing code like back in the 80s as a teenager. So it's just been something that has always been in me, and I love it. And I'm also a business and wealth coach. So to have those passions and to be able to combine it with technology, I figured out how to do some really amazing things. So.
Girl, charge it to my head and not my heart. Not that I forgot about gold grinders, but as I said, it 3, 4, 5 a.m.
It's
And I was like, I need to do a video because that I'm comfortable with, because I ain't want to mess your bios up like live.
No, it's perfect. It's perfectly fine. You know, I plug gold grinders everywhere that I go because I say that, you know, when you guys think about donating, I want gold grinders to be the first thing that comes to your mind. So as we grow and we get larger, no shame to any other organization out here, but just like everyone thinks about, you know, the Red Cross and these big organizations, I want y'all donating to gold grinders. You know, it's run by Black women. We're doing some amazing work in the community and we need the funding and it's going to a great place. So goldgrinders.org.
I'm gonna go a step further. Our babies are learning how to do robotics. They're learning about engineering. They're learning about coding. What other technical terms am I missing? Renee, what other technical terms?
They're learning Python right now, which is kind of the hot thing. And we do a signature when the world is open, STEM on the beach. We take the girls on a 4-day trip. We actually spend 4 whole days and nights with them. It's wonderful, but we are tired when we get back. And we actually integrate everything that has to do with the land, the sand, the sea, the air, the earth. And we do experiments literally on the beach. Like the first day, you know, people would be looking like, wow, it's a whole group of girls over. What are they doing? But then by the last day, people want to come over and they're like, okay, we want to join too. What you guys doing? So it's a great experience and I love it. I love it. So thank you again. I don't want to take up everyone's time.
No, thank you. Thank you. I can't remember. I can't believe that I forgot to mention Gold Grinder. I don't know what I was thinking.
I'm not going to tell the girls.
Our next person. Please don't. Please don't.
I'll just bribe you.
Our next person. Zakia.
Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Roz, for this honor. I'm humble and truly grateful. I would like to say hello to my mother, who's always instilled in me to be my authentic self. Each year, I choose a word to help hold me accountable. Last year, it was unapologetically. This year is destiny. I want to say hello to my Aunt Cynthia, who's on the line, who during COVID, we have gotten to know each other a lot better. She is my favorite aunt, and we spent more time talking, and she has recommended that I do words of affirmation. And Dr. Roz, I know you're a big proponent of that because you talk about it when you're on my show. So on my mirror in my bathroom, I have little stickers everywhere that help hold me in a good headspace as we're experiencing so much. I'm glad to hear throughout this program, we talked about mental health, because I am an individual who has several mental health impairments, and I'm an advocate for mental health. Through my platforms, I help to empower and inspire other people to share their lived experience, because your lived experience helps someone else. When I am feeling down, my father has told me, Zakia, you have your Game Changer chat on LinkedIn, so you need to get up and get with it. People are expecting you. And that is also very healing for me, to have the panel discussions with professionals from across the globe. In October, I am having the Thrive Summit. You can go to the thrivesummit.net if you want to be a part of this great opportunity. We're going to have professionals again from across the globe. My documentary, Unsilent Narratives, will be premiered, in which Dr. Roz is also in there. We have people like Dr. George Fraser, people from everywhere, South Africa, New Zealand, the UK, sharing their lived experiences, talking about microaggressions, talking about unconscious bias. And I invite you to participate and follow me on social media at the Zakia Mabry. I'm on Clubhouse. I hope to see you there too. I'm just experimenting with it and had my first room, I think last week, and it went well. I'm so honored and humbled to be nominated for this prestigious award, because in high school, my high school teacher told me I was not college material because I had I learned differently. I have a learning disability. He said, he never had anyone in his special education class wanting to go to college. So I went to college, I have a bachelor's, I have a master's degree, and soon I'm being honored with the earned doctorate degree this year. So I'm just ecstatic. I want people to not let you say, no, you can't do anything, because you can do anything that you set your mind to, like I have. I know I have on bright because I believe you can shine like gold and sparkle. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate this honor.
You are more than welcome, Zakia. Thank you. And congratulations to you as well. And our next honoree is Kyra.
Yes. Hey, oh my God. You know what? It's just feeling so good to be in this energy with all these game-changing women, and just, I mean, I just got to take a pause for a minute, because it just, you know, I'm all about the vibes and the chakras. So my chakras are all uplifted, you know. So no, this is so beautiful. Thank you so much. Oh my God, where do I begin? God, when I started talking about yoga, I just never thought that yoga would be so pronounced in my life. It's been such a transformation, and I want to pour that out into the community. I really want to hone in, and for the BIPOC community, the idea of self-care equaling self-preservation. And I think that's so important for us to latch on to. I survived a sexual assault in 2018, and yoga helped me reconnect to my body. And knowing that certain feelings can pass is something that some people don't know, because there's anxiety, then there's panic, and there's the feelings of shame and guilt that we talked about. And understanding that your own body will allow those feelings to pass if you tap in with yoga and meditation and mindfulness. So my commitment to trauma survivors is very, very deep. I started Reset Yoga Collective so that, you know, trauma survivors and all of us could kind of step back into the light, because trauma doesn't have a hierarchy, you know, whether it's rape, whether it's been a car accident, whether it's some type of childhood trauma like Dr. Keita talked about, losing a loved one, whatever it is, there's no hierarchy. We just need to step back into the light together. So the pandemic has been a beautiful season for me. Oh my God, to be able to start my yoga studio. I want my physical location to be on Howard University's campus. I'm all online right now, taking private clients, and I'm hiring volunteer yoga teachers. And it's not all for my trauma survivors. I do teach regular yoga for, you know, vinyasa for girls' night and things of that nature too. So it's a full-fledged yoga studio, but that the BIPOC community and the trauma survivors is really where I hone in on and focus on. So it's a beautiful, beautiful journey. I want to do the Peloton yoga instructor tryout because I saw that they're looking for yoga instructors that can bring something unique, and having trauma informed yoga on Peloton, I think would be, I mean, amazing. People would be like, how they're used to just normal workouts. So for them to accept something like that, we'll see when I do the Peloton tryout. But yeah, I really want to take my yoga to the next level. As a servant leader, I am all heart when it comes to yoga, all heart. And I think when my clients connect with me, they definitely can see that. So yeah, it's a beautiful journey. I love yoga so much. I love pouring myself out into the community and helping other people heal and reconnect to their body, to the nucleus of who they are, reopening those chakras. You see, I'm getting ready to go into a yoga class. You know what? Reopening those chakras, which the most important is the root and the solar plexus, right? The root chakra here, all in here, the root chakra and the solar plexus is related to your self-esteem and security. And that's the one that's all jacked up right now by the pandemic and all these stressors we got going on. So yeah, I want you guys to really get serious about carving out that time for calm and peace, and knowing that you deserve it. It brings so much self-love and so much confidence. You walk around like a freaking female lion, you know, ready to roar if you have a consistent meditation and yoga practice. You know what I mean? Because your body desires love so much, and to be able to take your own body in those practices and techniques and to pour it in, it's going to radiate out so strong that you'll be completely unstoppable. So yeah, that's my nugget for you guys: to cling to self-care, which equals self-preservation, and find your roar. Let yoga help you find your roar, because it's in you. And thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you so much. I was over here like stretching my legs.
I know.
Like, let me get.
I know I should have offered to
yoga
teach
movement.
teach a class, like a small session, but next time I can actually teach a yoga class, because I was thinking, I said, oh my God, I should have just threw on some yoga clothes and we could have did a little bit of something. Yeah.
Oh, that would have been great.
I know.
We'll say that for next time.
Yes.
That would have been great. That would have, make sure you connect with Camille, because maybe you can do some.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about that.
Yoga at Clinician Fest.
Yes, 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 indeed. Yes,
You are welcome. Here's your official invitation. So
yes. I'm there. I am so there. I'm so serious. I'm so there. I'll be happy to bring a great deep yin yoga practice, which is a deep meditative style of yoga. I'd be happy to bring that to the fest. So yeah, put me down. I'll give you my information. I'm going to put my information in the chat. Oh yeah, sure. Okay. So my IG is at Reset Yoga Collective. Let's see here. Collective. And my personal page is at Kyra Deep Yoga.
Which you want us to follow both of those, or just throw
Yeah, please do if you would like to. Yeah, whatever you would like to do. That's my business page, Reset, and then my personal IG is Kyra Deep Yoga. Oh, and there's something in the chat. I would love to join you Zoom. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh sure. Yeah. Let me put my phone number in here too. This is a business phone number. So yeah, give me a call if you want to practice yoga with me. I do groups and private yoga instruction. So yeah, please give me a call or text me. I would love to connect. Thank you.
I want to remind everyone to share the save the chat, because it has everyone's information and good contact information. So when we're ending this program, you can just, if you're on your computer, you go to the little 3 dots and hit save, and then you'll have the whole chat messaging string
I just did it.
on your computer.
Okay.
Thank you for that tip, Zakia.
I know, I did it right away.
Is there a way to do that from your phone?
Oh, that's a good
No,
question.
it's not, but I can send whatever I saved to Roz, and she can send it out.
Your clipboard. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
All right. So I want to thank everyone for showing up today, for giving me 2 hours and 18 minutes. Thank you, thank you on this beautiful Saturday. I have a gift for you. So hitting your inboxes real soon, you all will receive a playlist, a women's empowerment playlist of all of my favorite songs. Songs that get you motivated, songs that get you in the mood, songs that make you say, you know what? Today is not the day, but I'm gonna get it together. Right? So I am going to send that out to you. I also will be sending out a survey. So when you see that survey, please fill it out, because we had to pivot to virtual. I normally do this in person. But I want to see, does this work virtually? So what can I do better next time? How can I reach more people? Things of that nature. So I appreciate you all for being here. If you want to watch the replay of this, it's on my Facebook page, which is Roz Aker Black. It's on that Facebook page, so you can go, you can catch it there. And I love you all. And I wish you all.
And Roz, we can upload it to YouTube too.
Yeah. I'm gonna I gotta figure out how long it's gonna take to download. But yes. It will be uploaded to YouTube, and so this will be sent out as a YouTube link as well. But if you want to see it instantly replayed, go to my Facebook page. I love you all with the grace of God. Go forth and be amazing. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Have a great evening. Namaste.
Bye. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you all.
Likewise. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.